Sophie returned to her home country that day. She deliberately didn't tell her boyfriend Benjamin, just to give him a surprise. Unexpectedly, she caught him proposing to another woman. Furious, the woman turned around and left. Benjamin hurriedly chased after her, desperately explaining that he only did it because he loved her too much. So while she was abroad, he found someone who looked just like her, just to ease the pain of missing her. Later, in order to seek forgiveness, Benjamin knelt in the rain for 3 days and nights. He even refused medical treatment. Only then did Sophie soften and forgive him. 3 years later, the two successfully got married, but only then did Sophie discover that Benjamin's assistant was actually Morgana, the stand-in who was supposed to go abroad. Benjamin explained that her family was poor, so he just wanted to help her, but Morgana was not content with being a stand-in. She deliberately found a way to ruin Sophie's marriage certificate. When Sophie went to get a replacement, she was shocked to find out that her marriage certificate was fake, and that her husband's legal wife was actually Morgana. It wasn't until that moment that Sophie realized her marriage was nothing but a joke. What hurt her even more was that she accidentally overheard Benjamin talking at home. It turned out he wanted to have both women. A friend warned him that if Sophie found out, she would never agree. Benjamin coldly replied, "Then just don't let her find out." At that moment, Sophie finally understood that so-called loyal love was all a lie, so she decisively chose to delete her account and disappear from Benjamin's world forever. Since account deletion takes 1 week, she had no choice but to wait at home. Seeing her return, Benjamin grew anxious. He said today was their wedding anniversary. If Sophie didn't come back soon, he would go out to look for her himself. Sophie apologized with a blank expression. Benjamin quickly said he didn't mean it like that, and insisted on cooking by himself today, to prepare a full table of delicious dishes for Sophie. Seeing this, Sophie remembered how he once promised to love her for a lifetime, but who would have thought so soon he would have a change of heart? While Benjamin was cooking, Morgana suddenly called. He didn't dare answer in front of Sophie. So he lied that it was company business, told her to eat first and said he would be back soon. But as soon as he left, Sophie followed him by car. She saw with her own eyes Benjamin meeting Morgana. The two looked very close and intimate. Later, Benjamin texted Sophie, saying he had to go on a business trip for a few days and would make it up to her when he returned. This scene deeply pierced Sophie's heart, so she turned and left resolutely. But what Benjamin didn't know was that Morgana didn't originally look like that. In order to get close to him, she had plastic surgery to look like Sophie and played the role of a pitiful victim. Her doctor warned her that Benjamin was not someone to mess with. If he ever found out the truth, the consequences would be unimaginable. Morgana viciously said, "Then I'll make sure he never finds out." A few days later, Benjamin came back to apologize to Sophie. To cheer her up, he specially took her to a recording studio and invited her favorite singer. Everyone envied Sophie for having such a good husband. Only Sophie knew that it was all just a facade by Benjamin. After sitting down, Sophie suddenly felt a wave of pain. Benjamin suddenly remembered it was her period, so he called his assistant and asked her to bring something to keep Sophie warm. But to his surprise, it was Morgana who came. Benjamin panicked and asked why she was there. Morgana lied, saying the assistant was busy and she was afraid Benjamin would be anxious, so she brought the items instead. She even pitifully said it was raining outside, but even if she got wet, she would still protect the warm items. Benjamin took the bag and took Sophie to the restroom to change. But when Sophie came out, she saw Benjamin hugging Morgana. Morgana even looked at Sophie with a provocative stare. In a fit of rage, Sophie smashed a vase. Benjamin was startled. Luckily, Sophie ran off quickly, so Benjamin didn't see her. Morgana pretended to be aggrieved and told him to go back to Sophie, but Benjamin said he was her husband, so of course he should stay with her, so he brought Morgana to the studio. He told Sophie that it was inconvenient to go outside because of the rain, and that Morgana should leave with them together. After saying that, he sat down with her, completely ignoring Sophie's feelings. After the performance ended, Benjamin gave Sophie a necklace worth $1 million. Morgana was consumed with jealousy. She deliberately knocked over the champagne tower. Unexpectedly, Benjamin only focused on protecting Morgana, which resulted in Sophie getting hit and injured. Watching how he protected Morgana, Sophie passed out in pain. When she woke up, she happened to overhear Benjamin's sweet-talking with Morgana and heard Benjamin telling Morgana to call him husband. Sophie couldn't hold back her tears anymore. It wasn't until Morgana left that Benjamin realized she had woken up. He pretended to apologize, saying things were chaotic at the time. He didn't see clearly, so he wasn't able to protect her, and he lied that he had already punished Morgana. Sophie didn't want to hear any more of his excuses. Over the next few days, Benjamin voluntarily stayed by Sophie's side to care for her, until one day he received a call from Sophie. She said she was harassed by thugs. Benjamin thought Sophie had arranged it and questioned her about Morgana's whereabouts. Sophie said she didn't know Benjamin thought she was deliberately hiding it from him and shouted that he hated manipulative people the most. Then he left Sophie all alone and rushed to find Morgana. At that moment, Sophie no longer had any attachment to him. She went home and packed her things and left behind evidence of Morgana's plastic surgery, then left without hesitation. On the other side, after finding Morgana, he began taking care of her closely. That's when he realized Sophie hadn't messaged him for 3 days. He called his assistant and asked him to check the villa's surveillance. The assistant reported that Sophie had left 3 days ago and never came back. Benjamin finally panicked. He rushed back to the villa, only to find all of Sophie's jewelry and clothes were gone. He immediately ordered people to search for her and called all his friends to the hospital, asking them all to help look for her. Then he accidentally overheard Morgana on a phone call, saying that she had deliberately knocked over the champagne tower because Sophie had stolen the necklace that should have been hers and that the thugs were hired by her as well, all to get Benjamin's attention. Only then did Benjamin finally understand everything. He barged into the room. Morgana was startled. She was just about to explain when the assistant suddenly arrived with a document and also brought the thug who had attacked Morgana. As soon as the thug entered, he pointed at Morgana and said it was all done under her orders.